name's Brandt Passalacqua, and I am the director of Breathing Deeply Yoga Therapy. We're a yoga therapy training school, and we also offer yoga therapy and meditation training. And I'm here today with Steve Bader, and he is a graduate of our advanced yoga therapy training. And we're here to talk about a couple of his clients. We're using pseudonyms, I should say that at the beginning, that he had some good results with. And we're going to be doing a series of these interviews. And one of the real reasons is to make sure that the public gets some ideas of what's possible with yoga therapy. We see this all the time. And of course, every person is different, but we're trying to get the word out that it can be quite an effective modality. So I'm happy to be here with Steve today. Hi, Steve. So you have this client, Pam, that you worked with for depression.
Correct.
And just in the interest of time, I want to just give a kind of a brief synopsis because I think it's another example, right, of how we can be useful to people. And depression is something really hard to work with. So I thought this might be interesting. So tell us a little bit about Pam. Why did she come to you, and what was her complaint?
Pam had been experiencing depression for 20 to 30 years, again, a long period of time, ever since she was a teenager. Her main symptoms of depression were very low states, very low energy, negative self-talk, periods where that could last for days. She didn't want to get out of bed or just wanted to lay on the floor. And then very sparsely interjected in there would be periods of time where she'd get her energy back, but almost overcompensated, where her mind's working a mile a minute. When we started working together, she had said that she was having a depressive episode pretty much weekly that could last 2 or 3 days. And the higher states, energy states, or almost manic states would come maybe once a month for a day. Throughout her life, she's had periods where the depression would be more intense or less intense. And around the time we started working together, it was a period where it was starting to get a little bit more intense.
Yeah. So tell us what you gave her, like what kinds of practices she did.
We started off, and I wanted to work with asana practice or postures that focused on the breath expanding, building up her breath, opening up the chest area. And so we did asanas where you would move from a pose like Thunderbolt, where you're sitting on your knees, to a full or half kneeling position where you would have your arms wide open to open up that chest and time it with the breath to bring that expansion in.
All right, so you did moving and breathing again, just with a different kind of emphasis, which is the inhale.
Correct.
Yeah. And then, so she did these asanas. Did you expand on that over time with her?
Over time, the amount of duration the inhalation was expanded over time. We would also take this concept away from asana, where we would do breathing practices on their own with different ratios, expanding the inhalation and a hold after the inhalation. Along to support this work, we did work in the more meditative aspect, and I wanted to really focus on vibration with her meditation. So rather than it being something completely silent where the intrusive thoughts could come in, we worked to have a mantra attached to it, one that included the word Om to have that kind of vibratory aspect that someone could sink into. So Jessica found a mantra, Om Namaha Shivaya, that she resonated with, and would do that and say Om Namaha Shivaya 108 times as her practice. And that really helped her. To support that, I recommended looking into kirtan, which is chanting. And she found a record or an album that she could listen to on Spotify, and would listen to that on her walks back and forth from work. And that really seemed to help her stay focused and to kind of bring her attention away from negative self-talk and help her stay committed to doing the asana practice as well.
Right. And in our school, that's one of the, we use chanting, mantra, things like that to work with what we call the conscious mind, right? The thoughts. So you went heavy on that, and you gave her some asana as well with breath, which is also an intervention for depression specifically to work on inhalations. which, if you hadn't thought about that before, might seem odd, but it's actually not, right? Brings people a lot of energy and sort of changes how their system's working. So how long did you work with Pam?
Pam, I'm still working with, but we worked together for 4 to 5 months it's been,
Mm-hmm.
and we saw improvements pretty quickly as well. 2 months ago, Pam told me during one of our sessions that in between sessions, which was about a 3 week period between those two sessions, she had no depressive or manic states, which was different than when we started the few months earlier, where she would have them where they'd sink in for days. And then since that time, which has been another 2 months, I've been in contact with her about monthly now that things have stabilized and calmed down with the practices. And she spoke with her doctor and is starting to cut one of her medicines in half, the amount that she was taking, slowly weaning off that. And she believes that medication particularly, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head, contribute to having that low energy state. And the
Right.
previous time that she tried cutting the dosage with the help of her doctors, depression symptoms and depressive episodes started to come back full swing when she started the lesson. But this time she's able to do so without the depressive episodes coming back.
Because she has some techniques, right, to change things. So that's, yeah.
Correct.
And again, another not atypical result we see, especially in the practicum in our school where people work with depression, and we use these kinds of interventions, and people are able to our goal is not to get people off Western medicine, but sometimes people are able to make different choices because they have new tools. So that's another great example of that. So we're definitely happy for her.
Correct.
For sure. So I just want to thank you. I mean, these are great results, and I feel like I need to say, like, we don't come on these. We have a regular podcast, but I don't come on these to sort of tell everyone they're going to get like perfect results from yoga therapy. I think it's more important to understand, although we do see some pretty extreme and powerful like results from practices. And the reason we share them is really in the spirit, if you're listening, that you can help yourself maybe more than you thought you could, and that yoga therapy has some tools. And if you come to a yoga therapist, we might be able to give you some tools, right, to ease your suffering, which is our goal as yoga therapists. So, Steve, how could someone find you directly if they just want to follow up on this?
I have a website called badermovement.com. On there, you'll find more information about myself, more information about the services I provide, and a way to contact me for an intake session.
Great. And you're in Buffalo, correct?
Correct. I'm in Buffalo, New York. I work in the Buffalo region, but I also have capabilities to work through Zoom if you are not in the Buffalo area.
Awesome. So you can find Stephen there. And if you want to find out more about our school, we are at breathingdeeply.com. You can contact us for yoga therapists, including Steve. We'll find him for you if you don't find his website. There's a tab on our website for that. We have trainings where we train yoga therapists. We have a meditation school. And we have some courses and more to come on yoga therapy for different conditions. So if you're looking for help yoga therapy wise, feel free to contact us and we'll do our best to help you. Thank you, Steve. Awesome work. And it's great working with you in general. So I would definitely recommend anyone working with Steve. Have a great day.
Thank you for this opportunity, Brandt.
Thank you.